Hello guys, welcome once again. This is the new video of AngularJS, and in this video we are going to discuss expressions in AngularJS. What are expressions and how we actually deal with them. So we're gonna be looking at all of that stuff in this video. Okay. So first of all, what are expressions in AngularJS? Anything that is resolved by AngularJS is called as expression. For example, an expression could be 1 plus 1. It's a valid expression, and you usually write it in double curly brackets. Okay, whatever you write inside those double curly brackets, these are your expressions. Okay, so for expression, it has to give something back, so it will give you the result back. And the next thing is that expression could contain variables, it could contain operators, or it could contain literals. So these are the main properties of expression by means of which you can recognize that this thing is an expression. So let's get deeper into that, and this is the basic syntax of expression. There are two ways of writing expressions into AngularJS. The first one is this method, writing inside those two curly braces, and the other one is writing like this: ng-bind is equal to, then put the double quotes and then write inside. Whatever you will write inside will be an expression. So for example, you write 5 plus 5, so 5 plus 5 is your expression here. Okay, and it will be resolved and it will give you a result back. So coming to the next point, and that is a very important point, that how AngularJS is different in comparison with the JavaScript. So we're going to be looking into that. The first point is that, like JavaScript expressions, AngularJS expressions can contain literals, operators, and variables. This is the point that we have discussed earlier, right? So in that category of literals, operators, variables, AngularJS and JavaScript are same. But what happens next, that unlike JavaScript expressions, AngularJS expressions can be written inside HTML, and we're going to be taking an example of that. We'll go here, and this is our code. Let me zoom it for you, and you can see that this is the code from our previous video. Most probably you are familiar with this source, you are familiar with these curly braces, and you know that it will solve and it will give you the output as 10, right? Because of AngularJS it will solve that. So this is an example of a simple JavaScript, and you can see that there is nothing HTML around. This is the basic script tag for JavaScript, and you got to write this, and you cannot write any HTML tag inside this script tag, right? But if you go and see about AngularJS, you can see that AngularJS expression is literally is been written inside this HTML tag. This is the paragraph tag, and HTML tag got the expression of AngularJS, but you cannot write this JavaScript code inside this HTML tag. Okay, so I hope you have got the concept here. So the next thing is, okay, so the next thing is AngularJS expressions do not support conditionals, loops, and exceptions, while JavaScript expressions do. So let me tell you one thing about this, that in JavaScript, while you're writing a code like this, you can write a for loop easily. You can do whatever you want. This is the simple programming language, and all the concepts that are valid in the main programming languages like Java, C Sharp, and C++, these are also valid in JavaScript. It will give you the exception, it will give you the main reason of the error, it will tell you each and every bit of the program about. But in AngularJS, you will not be able to learn about a thing. If it has an exception, in JavaScript it will tell you, but in AngularJS it does not have any exception. If it has any error, you're not gonna know about that until you review your code. Okay, So the exception, the condition statement like if else, the loops, for loops, while loops, do while loops, these are all valid for JavaScript, but these are not the valid things in the case of AngularJS. Okay, so I hope you have got the concept here. The next is AngularJS expression support filters while JavaScript expression do not. So in JavaScript, basically you do not have any condition, and you do not have you do not have any condition of filters, right? You don't have filters actually, but in AngularJS it supports many kind of filters. The filters about date filters, date format, you have date and date filters, and other filters are currency filters, other, it could be data filters, it could be any, a lot of 7 8 types of filters are there for AngularJS, but in JavaScript you do not have any filters. And about filters, we're going to be discussing that in our upcoming videos shortly, and you're going to see that I will explain it briefly. Okay, the next thing is, unlike JavaScript, no functions in AngularJS and no use of new operator. So what is the new operator? Most of you will be familiar with that. When you create a class, you mostly write it like this: new class, right? So this new operator shows the the making of a new class or using of the new class. But in AngularJS, you cannot write this new operator, and it is not valid in that case. So the other thing is that in JavaScript, like other programming languages, you can create a function most probably, and it could be void or anything. But in a function like this, and you can call it anywhere you want in your JavaScript code. But in AngularJS, you cannot have functions, you cannot call them, and all that stuff, or you cannot have the new operator either. So these are the basic differences between JavaScript and AngularJS. I hope you have learned something new this time. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and bye for now.